Yay. Okay. Welcome. Oh, waiting room. Okay. I hope that I'm going to give it like one more minute, share my story really quickly again. And then I actually have a presentation and slides to show you, which is a lot for me. So don't judge me because they're very simple. But so my name is Crystal Milligan, in case you just joined in. And I am a 7-star diamond. I'm in the, what do you call it? Legacy Club. That's where you've earned a cumulative $1 million in your stuff, in your business. A lot of this stuff I don't even pay attention to be honest. I'm not a recognition person. So I kind of I did this not to be totally whatever, this sounds kind of bad, but I did it for the money and because I love fitness. I love helping people. I've always had a passion for nutrition, for fitness. I love all of that, to my core. But I did this, the freedom, the time freedom and the financial freedom are why I pursued this business specifically. Otherwise, I'd probably still be training people in the gym and whatever else. But people ask me all the time, oh, will you ever go back to training people? Will you ever go back to teaching? And as much as I love it, I do get giddy when I work with people one-on-one. I'll train some friends sometimes and show that, I showed a friend a few months ago, stuff about strongman, right? And because I used to compete in strongman and I love it. I get so excited when people want to do it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll show you some techniques. I'll show you how to do this. I'll show you how to flip a tire, all that kind of stuff. And I get giddy over it, but I don't want to do that consistently because I don't want to be tied down to someone else's schedule. I love the freedom that this has given me, that I can choose what I'm doing, that I'm choosing my priorities of, for me at the moment, schooling my children and being really present in their lives. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I know everyone sees probably different things, but there's a song going or a wording going around for reels right now that's really popular. I feel like I see it 20 times a day. Your kids are only little for 4 years, right? There's a 4-year thing. And it talks about that. And every time it grabs me in the gut because my youngest is 5. I don't even have any 4-year-olds anymore. I don't have any babies technically anymore. And I'm well, I had my first and he was a little over 1 year old when I first started this. And when I literally the 2 months after I started coaching, I got pregnant with my daughter and I was okay, I was present a little bit, but I was working at 5 a.m. I would be at someone's house or at the gym coaching. And then on Saturday mornings and in the evening at dinner time, and I was missing out on moments. And I was that's not okay. That's not okay. I want something different. I need to do something different. And so that fueled me and drove me to be intentional so I could have those moments. And so when my daughter was I don't know, the timeline, I'm terrible with time. It was about 2 3/4 years after I started. So I think she was 1.5 years, maybe almost 2 is when I walked away and did this solely. And it's been worth it. And I don't regret a second of it. And it's been one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my entire life. And so I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about building a full-time business on part-time hours. Now that it's not the quick fix, it's not the easy way in or any of that kind of stuff, because there is no easy way. Anything worth accomplishing is going to come with challenge, right? But challenge is what brings change. And that's what we're looking for when we came to this, whether it's a physical change that you're looking for, whether it's a mental change, whether it's financial change, whether it's what you do with your everyday life kind of change. We came here looking for a change. And so if you're looking for that change, then you need to embrace the challenges that come up and know that you can figure out a way. Does it mean that you're going to have to work 20 hours a day or 12 hours a day? No, but it does mean that there's going to be sacrifice, right? It does mean that there will be things that you have to shift. Are you willing to sacrifice your TV time? Yeah, duh. That's the easiest thing. I feel like the TV time that you spend, or when you talk about in your stories, girl, I know you're on social. How much time do you, because they say they have no time, right? How much time do you spend scrolling through social? Is that the first thing you do in the morning? Is that the last thing you do before you go to sleep? It is for a lot of people. The answer is yes, for a lot of people. So if they're doing that, they can be coaching. They could be coaching. They have the time to do something. So I'm going to share my screen with you and get this up. I'm just nervous if anybody tries to join in, I'm not gonna be able to see them, but I'm not gonna look at the chat for now because I'm gonna actually try and do this on a slideshow so we can all see that. Can you see that? Chrissy, Katie, Gail, you're in my mind. Okay, good. So building a full-time business with part-time hours, right? That's what we're talking about. That is some of the girls, that was from Utah. That's the only cold trip that we ever did. And then everybody was like, we don't want to do cold anymore. We just want to do something warm every time. So I was like, okay, we will never do a cold retreat ever again. But yeah, it was really fun. So that little baby up there on the left was my first little boy. He is 10 years old now. And even the picture on the right is like dated and stuff. That was like over a year ago, but he's 10 years old now. And he was my initial reason of why I started this. I told you guys again, my mom was always working or in school. She was getting her master's. She was an English teacher. When I was younger, she was a waitress, and then she was in school to become a teacher. She taught me the meaning of hustle. She taught me the meaning of working hard, right? And I love and appreciate her for that. But I was always either at my grandma's house, at the babysitter's house, or even home alone. Like I was a latchkey kid early on. I can't even think it might be different where you live, but where I live, I have a fourth grader, and I can't imagine leaving him home right now by himself. I'm like, I was home by myself watching soap operas and whatever else after school, because my mom was still working. So I was by myself a lot. And I just remember a lot of my activities. I did competitive cheer growing up. And I remember everyone else's mom was, there at the competitions, helping them with their hair and helping them with their makeup and doing all this stuff. And my mom wasn't, and I missed out on that. And I wanted it to be different. I'm sure that even if you can't relate to my specific story, that you can relate to my story in some way, that you wanted something different. And that's why you're here, whether it's something different from what you grew up with, or it's something different from what you were just in and you were, you felt stuck in your day-to-day life. You wanted something different. So you're here to do something different, right? And so over the years, since I've been doing this for 9+ years now, I've accomplished the goals that I originally set out for. I mean, praise God, I've accomplished the fact that I can stay home. My husband is sort of in ministry. I mean, he's not a pastor, but he works for our church. He does all the graphics and stuff. And so if you know anything usually about most people who work for a church, they don't make a lot of money. But he loves what he does. He's very passionate about that. But I support our family with my income. My income is the breadwinning, and I still get to be at home teaching my kids. I get to be present at their sporting activities. I get to do all that. That was the stuff that I originally signed up for, and I accomplished it. So why do I continue to show up? I continue to show up. My why has changed, right? The story has evolved over time, and my why has changed. It's still to have that time freedom. It's still to have that financial freedom, but it's also because I now want to help other women to have that too. I want to serve other women because I know how much it's been a game changer for me. I want to be able to bring that to other women and give them that opportunity to be able to create that in their lives, especially in the state of like how crazy the world is and everything else. I want them to have control over the effort that they're putting in, the business that they're building and all that stuff, and not be at someone else's disposal, right? So that was super important. So I told you, these are not like anything great or like creative slides, but here it's a slide. So taking messy action and being committed to figuring it out. I mentioned that earlier, right? But that's super important. all of us have our strengths and weaknesses, right? We all come into this business with something that we're probably really good at. I told you I loved fitness. I loved nutrition. I ate, slept, and breathed it. Like that wasn't a problem for me. But I never used social media before I started this, except to like post maybe a picture for my family that was living back east. I didn't have hardly any friends. And I just told you, I'm a computer dinosaur. Like I like struggle and get anxiety and get super overwhelmed. Like we talked about creating email systems. And I've known for like 8 years now that I should create an email system, but I haven't done it because I'm like, oh, and it just like overwhelms me. I am going to do it. That's on my list though. It's happening before the end of the month. But anyways, we all have strengths and weaknesses. I know, for example, there's other people on my team. Someone who is on my team, she is super organized to a T. She has any system is like down, it's nailed down. She's got an awesome, incredible graphic for it and everything else. She could teach you anything from A to Z, right? But for her, social media, like she could train anybody, but for her, social media is a huge challenge. And actually having conversations with people, and it like freaks her out, whatever else, right? So we all have strengths and weaknesses, but we have to take action regardless. We have to be committed to figuring out. So as far as like my technology dinosaur stuff, I've taken lots of messy action. I've tried Teamsy. I've tried Google Streak. I have tried those things. I've figured out what works for me with collections. I figured out what works with me with a specific planner that I use, right? But also, oh my gosh, my son is literally just started playing drums. I have to tell him really quick to stop this because it's so distracting. Hey, not right now, not right now. There's no way. No, okay, move on. Move on to the next thing. Okay, then you're done. Seriously. Okay. I gave them a list of things that they had to do when I was on my call. And I didn't think he would get to that one. That's at the bottom of the list. Okay. But being committed to figuring out. So even I'm to the point now where like, I'm still committed to figuring out the email list. That's been like the thorn in my side for the longest time. I know that I need to do it. And then I try to do something with it and I do it for a little while and then it never sticks because it's hard and whatever, that kind of stuff. So I'm just literally going to pay someone to do it now. I'm at the point where I'm like, I know it's going to help me have more business, be more intentional, be able to make things more streamlined. So I'm going to hire somebody to do it because I've tried other things and to get there. So now I'm doing it that aspect, but I'm figuring it out. You have to take messy action in the beginning. I remember Christy had challenged me. It's when this is back in the dinosaur age, right? When on Facebook, they first introduced live video. And I was like, ooh, live video. Like I can get up and teach a class of like 50 people and teach them like a workout. But to go live and talk about something and see myself on the camera, like that was scary to me. But she said, do it. So I did, right? And I occasionally that video will pop back up in my memories and I'm like, ooh, it's like cringeworthy because I'm like monotone. I have no emotion. Like now we're so used to talking to people on video. It's like, it's no big deal. Right. But back then it was a huge deal for me. But it's become easier because I took messy action. I didn't wait to try and figure everything out. I didn't wait till I knew everything about everything because you never really will if we're being honest, right? But I took messy action and I committed to figuring it out. Sometimes figuring it out is delegating too, right? Like I just said with the email things, sometimes it's delegating. That's okay. You do a lot of times you have to figure out it, use your strengths, use your weaknesses, figure that out and keep moving forward. Right. So let's talk about productivity. I can't see the pictures. There we go. So productivity is insanely important. And I would like to consider myself a productive person, but I still get stuck in the scroll. I still have squirrel brain sometimes, whatever else, right? So I just want you to know that I don't want you to think like, okay, once I've gotten this, I've mastered it, right? I want you to realize that this is an ongoing learning process. We're continually getting better. We're continually having to work on this, right? So productivity is prioritizing important income producing activities first. You've heard of IPAs, right? Income producing activities. What are the income producing activities? Well, we have to invite, right? If we don't ever invite anybody, how will they know that they can join us in this? How will we have to connect, or else people won't be seeing our social media, right? How will they know what we're doing? We have to add people to our network, or else we have the same 100 people that we're talking to over and over again. And then eventually you max out of that, right? So we have to prioritize those important income producing activities first. So in the question and answer, Katie asked a really good question. How do you prioritize? What do you do on a regular basis, right? And I said how I work in a batching kind of system where I batch invites, I batch follow up. I'm not doing necessarily those things on a daily basis, but I'm definitely making sure that I do them on a regular basis. And for me, even honestly, guys, I don't know if you feel this way, but I have felt that my days tend to run into each other. Like, I'm like, what day is it? Oh, today's Thursday, right? I had to set an alarm and it reminded me a week ago. And then it reminded me 2 days ago. And then it reminded me yesterday that I was leaving this call today, because otherwise I would have been like, what day is it? I don't know. I would have just gone about my day and had no idea. So making sure that you are prioritizing. So for me, I still track, even though I know what to do. I've been doing this for over 9 years now. I still track what I'm doing, right? I still track when I'm inviting, how many invites I've done, how many people I've added to my network. Because yes, I know what to do, but I can easily let a couple days go by, which then could turn into a couple weeks of not doing something. And I think I just did it a couple days ago when it's really been like a week or two, right? So making sure that you're tracking, I think, is really vitally important. Unless you have like laser focused brain memory kind of thing. But I don't know. Everyone I've talked to is kind of like a little bit of a hot mess, right? So making sure that you're tracking that, because why do you have 50 million things that you're trying to remember? Why are you going to add one more thing on your list? Just track it so you know exactly what you've done. So prioritize those important income producing activities first. Real life, what does that mean? Instead of creating the pretty graphic, go do your invites first. Instead of creating the new email system that you're trying to go through, whatever else that could wait until the whatever, you need to get your adding and connecting in first, right? Are you at your goals for the month yet? Oh, so then maybe instead of doing that training and watching 500 videos of whatever else and learning about this, and this, you should be actually getting to your goals and inviting people and following up with people and having those conversations first, right? Yes, those other things are good, but are you prioritizing the income producing activities? I've definitely gone through phases of my business where I just do what feels good. And that's like, I like to connect with people. I like to help people. I still don't necessarily, I do like to invite, but I can sometimes get in my head about it too. I still have mindset, like, my mind plays with me or whatever and struggle. And I can get into those zones where I'm just doing the stuff that feels good and not all the things, all the time, right? So preparation is key. Preparation. If we're working, you can see Power Pockets right here. If you don't know what a Power Pocket is, Micah Folsom has a podcast that you can look it up. It's called Power Pockets. It's also, you can look it up on Beachbody Champions. There's a couple of different coaches that talk about Power Pockets. It's taking massive action within like a 10 to 20 minute period. So this even applies to stuff like in outside of Beachbody coaching too, right? Like it could apply to your enormous pile of laundry that you have in your room right now, right? This could apply to doing meal prep for the week or whatever else, right? But working in Power Pockets and being prepared for those is super important. So I'm just going to tell you what I do. There are a number of ways to do this. My way is not the only way, but what I do is on Sundays, I sit down and I usually I kind of do it with my homeschooling stuff too. So I don't know exactly how long it takes me because I combine it all together, but probably, I don't know, an hour or so maybe. And I plan out my week. I use the Rise Up Planner. So I have a place where I plan out my posts for the week. I will look through my saved reels or look through my saved things. I save posts to give me inspiration because I am not a very creative person. So I look to other things to help me to be creative and to do what's on point. So I save those into a collection as well. So I'm looking through, okay, what's coming up this week? What do I have? Oh, it's the launch. It's the launch of the gut protocol coming up next week. So I'm talking about that throughout my week. I'm talking about that. So I'm including that in my stuff. I'm looking at that. And then I'm writing on each day what I want to focus on, what I want to do, right? So on this day, I'm sending out this email. And on this day, I'm sending out all my follow-up responses for this, reminders, and like to see what they're ready for. And so I can create a share cart that morning. On this day, I'm doing whatever. So I'm doing that on Sundays. You can do it on whatever day you want. But I think for me, I'd be running around like a chicken with my head cut off if I didn't do that. So preparation helps me to prioritize, which helps me to work in the pockets of time, right? Because we're talking about how to build a full-time business on part-time hours, right? So we have to prepare, which I used to think like, I don't have time to prepare. I don't have time to prepare. I'm just going to do, and I'm just going to take action. I'm a very action-oriented person. But then I said, no, it actually makes sense. It's kind of like the same thing as meal prepping, even though I still am not a huge fan of meal prepping, to be honest. But I know that when I prep, I have a better nutrition that week, right? So when I prepare my business for the week, I have better action, better results for the week, right? It all makes sense. And then I work in power pockets. So I know exactly what I have to do that day. So if I have, like I said, that 20 minutes that I'm sitting in the parking lot, I can easily just scroll through for 20 minutes and then all the time is sucked out, right? Or I can work on doing my follow-ups, or I can work on getting my connections in, or I can work on doing my ads for that day. I know if I have that pocket, this is what I'm going to do. And this is what I'm focused on this day. So I prepare that on Sundays, right? That's super important for being productive. Why is it not going down now? There we go. Okay. Also, just remember, focus on growth. Perfection does not exist, right? Perfection does not exist. You need to focus on growth. This is the same slide. What is going on? There we go. Wait. Oh, it says the same thing. See, look at this. I can't even do the slides right. Anyways, we're talking about quality over quantity. It says the same things underneath, but that's okay. So some coaches teach quantity and have great success with that, right? For me, what I really focus on is a quality, and you can have a quality and a quantity too. You can combine the two. But I personally think that quality should always be a higher value over quantity. I think that people, again, we have a market with, even if it's not a Beachbody coach, there's like hundreds of thousands of Beachbody coaches. There's these people telling you to do CBD. There's these people who are doing Modere. There's these people who are doing Arbonne. There's these, whatever. There's a lot of people doing a lot of things, right? What's going to make you stand out? I truly believe that it is the relationship. Does that always necessarily mean that you're like building this behind the scenes relationship? You're talking to these people every single day or anything like that? Not necessarily. It also means that you are sharing vulnerably. You are being real. So that means you're sharing parts of your personality so that your people are going to connect with you, like through stories, right? Those kinds of things. Like when people start to see who you are through your stories, and sometimes even in your posts, they connect with you. They feel like they're your friend, right? They feel like they know you, and that's building a relationship as well. So I'm not saying that you have to like be BFFs with them and be going back and forth 20 million times a day in your messages or anything, but you're building those relationships with them. And so when you have that, I think for me, honestly, I've seen that because I've built quality and I focus on the quality connections and interactions with people. I truly love, I'm here to love and serve people, right? That is why I'm here. I want to help more women to experience how incredible this gift is, right? And so I want to share that with people. And so if I focus on that, I think that's why I have sustained and grown my business to the level that it is. You guys, you would laugh if you were like, I am not working a million hours. I show up consistently and I'm always, I've done that for 9 years now, but I've never, ever worked full-time hours. And I earn anywhere between, I'm working my way towards 5K a week, but I consistently earn 3,000 plus a week. Right? Consistently. My business has always been very consistent and consistently growing because of the quality of relationships of people that I have. And I really honestly don't lose rank. I do here and there. Like I go back and forth, but I'm like consistently between a 5 and a 7. I've sustained that 5-star status for so long. Again, I don't really care about recognition stuff or whatever, but like, I just to give you an example, because I believe because of the quality and the relationships that have been built there, these people know that I truly would show up and do anything for them, right? That I would give them the sweatshirt off my back, that I would, support them in anything that they want to do. Right. And so I think that is huge with quality over quantity. So it often takes me longer to produce results, but I invest in relationships and I'm genuinely wanting to help people and believe that is what God called me to do. So I don't just look at people as numbers, but as people who are worth investing my time in, whether they purchase a 3-month bod or a deluxe challenge pack. So let me clarify. That doesn't mean that I chase people when they're not showing up, but I do match their efforts and I truly aim to serve them, right? Because you guys, I'm sure you've heard stories of coaches who, like Jessica Bowser Nelson, she was a free lead, right? She came in, whatever else. So she technically didn't, I don't know if she purchased anything, but she was a free lead and she's built this, I don't know, I think 7-figure business at this point. There's people who came in, I hear time and time again, different stories of coaches who borrowed their friends' DVDs, or they did just like the bare minimum and they said they didn't have time for Shakeology or whatever else. And then they built these ginormous businesses because people still cared about them. They still invested in them. They still showed up and they supported them. So I think that shows you there's something very valuable in that. Okay. So evaluating regularly. This is important because once again, it's kind of like putting a blindfold on and then shooting at the dartboard. And then you're like, did I hit anything? Did I hit anything? Right. So if you're not evaluating regularly, how do you know if you're moving closer to your goals? How do you know if what you're doing is working? Right? Are you just guessing? So this is an important thing to do. Weekly and then also monthly and then quarterly is kind of like the basis of what I do this as. Weekly, I say, okay, you can kind of consider like a high and a low, right? We do this with our kids too. We talk about what was your high today? What was your low today? And then ask them, well, what was your favorite part of the day or whatever, or what was your least favorite part of the day? You can do it in a million different ways, but we do this weekly in business wise. What did I do well this week? Because you want to have that praise. You do want to have that like, okay, you are doing something well. You're not always just going to focus on like, okay, you're stinking at this. This is what I do with clients too, though. What did you do well this week? Okay, I hit my water goals every single day. Like I'm really well hydrated. What do I need to work on? Well, I'm still really slacking on veggies. It's really challenging to get in veggies. I just don't like them. Okay, what practical action step can I take this week, this coming week to get better? let's think about, can you add some veggies into your smoothies? Can you hide some veggies into some muffins or some banana bread that you make? Maybe we can start to take those things. What's a veggie that you haven't tried? Let's try one new veggie in a different way. Have you ever tried dipping your carrots in peanut butter? They make them taste really good, in my opinion. You know, like you can give them some things, and they focus on taking one practical action step. So same thing in your business. What did I do well last week? I did really awesome at promoting gut protocol and talking to people about it and getting people excited. And I have a list for it, whatever else. What did I not do well? And what do I need to work on? So my connections kind of sucked last week. So if I do that consistently moving forward, then I'm not going to have a good month next month, right? So I need to focus on continuing to follow up with my people, but I have a good list and I'm still adding to it. So I'm going to really focus on connecting this week so I can get more eyeballs on what I'm seeing, right? So I want to hit at least 5 days this week. I want to hit at least 30 minutes of time in my connections intentionally. That would be a practical action step that I can take this coming week to get better. Right. And so if you're doing that every week, it's really helping you to grow over time. And that is what helps you to get to your goals. Again, if you set a goal for 3 months out or 6 months out, and of course you see the goal, whatever else, but then you never check in on how you're doing or if you're moving closer to that goal. And then 6 months goes by and you're like, crap, oh, I got better, but I didn't get to the goal. Like if you're being more intentional in it, then you're going to be able to be a lot more likely to make that goal happen. Does that make sense? So doing that with your clients, even doing that with your coaches that you're adding to your team, and then also doing that with yourself. Super important, right? And last but not least is mindset. So of course, you know, one of our vital behaviors is to do personal and professional development, right? That's super important. And you've heard me say throughout this time that we've been talking together, that I've gone through phases, and I still go through phases. I'm a constant work in progress with this, of defeating myself in this business. There was a point where, like, in the beginning, I was like on fire. I wanted to get to my goals. I had a huge why, all that kind of stuff. But then I hit my goals and I was like, okay, now what? And I kind of got stuck for a while. And I was like, I want to get unstuck. But I kept focusing on being stuck, right? So I had to really work through that mindset. Why do I want to show up daily? Why does this bring me joy? Why do I love this? Why do I want to share this with other people? What's the next step that I want to go to, right? So you have to be working on your mindset. Even the same thing too. There was a great example that someone shared with me the other day. Even like talking to people and inviting people, right? Really, I tell people when I do my power hour session that I lead for, you know, we have these power hour sessions that are offered to our team, right? Every day. And I do Tuesdays at 10 o'clock. And I always lead them. We're doing networking and connecting. And I always like tell them, okay, I put music on in the background because music makes us happy. We want to be in a good mood before we go and connect with people, because somehow, some way, if you're in a bad mood, that transfers over across social media somehow. And you're going to be like trying to swim upstream and connect with people and help people and get clients, but they're not going to want to connect with you because there's something about how you're just like checking the box. You have to bring the energy. I think in the beginning, one of the reasons why I had such great success, even though I was a poop show with my posting and everything else, like I was so salesy in my posts, was because of the energy that I brought. Because of the energy, I was excited. I wanted to share this with the entire world. And so my posts were not amazing. My groups probably were horrible, but I was excited. And other people wanted, they wanted that energy. They wanted to be excited too. And they came on board because of that, right? And so if we are not doing personal and professional development, if we're not working on our mindset, we might be defeating ourselves. If you're feeling like this business is hard, it's probably because of you. I doubt it's because of anything else. You're probably holding yourself back. And I'm saying that with love because I've done it, right? So mindset is huge. And there might be certain things that you have to work through or whatever else and process. And that's often hard, but it will help you to grow and get better and level up in such incredible ways that you can't even imagine. So it's something that you want to do. And who knew that Beachbody would help you do that, right? Like that's just one of the bonus things that comes with it. But it's kind of like thinking like this. You're going into inviting to somebody, you've been connecting with them, whatever else. And then you're kind of like, oh, I don't want to invite them. I want to invite them, but I don't because it's just like, I don't know. What if they say no? What if they think I'm like a crazy salesperson? And then you're like, hi, I just want to invite you to see if maybe that you might be interested in maybe doing this group with me. I think you would love it, but if you don't, it's okay. How many of us do we speak like that? I am so guilty of speaking like that, right? Or you could come in and you could be like, oh my gosh, Gail, I love what you're doing. And I know that you would be so amazing on my team. Why aren't you doing this with me? You would rock this because of your energy. You're so positive. You're always overcoming your struggles. And I just know that you would be great at this and help so many women. Like, come on, girl. And then you leave that up to them. And that might seem pushy. It might seem whatever, but it's genuine because you're like, come do this with me. I know it has changed my life. And then you share with that instead of like, oh, well, maybe if you're whatever. You see the difference in that? That is all mindset. That's all mindset, confidence, right? Mindset. So really making sure that you are setting yourself up to be in a good place before you do those business building activities, before you're connecting, before you're doing all those kinds of things. It's super important because I can look back over the 9 years that I've been doing this. And I know that there's been harder times than others. And it's never been because of necessarily the situation going on in my life. I've gone through some hard freaking stuff during this. I can tell you though, it's funny. During the hard stuff, I was diagnosed with a genetic heart disease that took my mother's life. And it has, changed the way, like I didn't know if I would ever be able to work out again. Working out is not good with this heart disease. And so it rocked my freaking world. It rocked my world. And you would think that that would cause my business to plummet, right? But I will tell you, even though I wasn't working out for an extended period of time, as I shared through that and I worked through that and I committed to figuring it out and overcoming the obstacle, my business was exploding at that time because of my belief system, because I was committed to figuring it out, because I was committed to overcoming and everything else. So it doesn't have anything to do with what's going on in your life or anything else like that. It has to do with this, right? My best times were when I was excited and when I was confident. That's when my best times in my business were. Because even though I was scared out of my mind for what was going on in my life at that time, I knew that I was going to figure it out. And I was sharing with people along the way. So even if I was never working out ever again, they were inspired, even though most people could not relate to what I was going through, because it's a very rare thing. They were inspired because they saw how I continued to show up anyways, right? So there will be seasons, but it's what will you do with the time that you're in, right? It's going to pass anyways. And so that is how I built a full-time business on part-time hours, because of taking messy action, because of focusing on quality connections, because of coming in, being prepared and being intentional, and with really dialing in my mindset and showing up consistently. That was how I built this business to where it is today. Okay, I did not look at the chat at any of that at any time. So let me know right now at this moment if you have any specific questions or anything like that. I hope that you are feeling empowered and inspired right now. And you're like, wait, I can do this. Because I tell people all the time, and I know you've heard this before. I know Christy says this all the time too. I probably got it from her, but I am no magical unicorn, right? I am not anybody, like people are like, oh, you're so disciplined. Oh, you're so motivated all the time. How are you so motivated? No, it's not. It's called, I told you, I get stuck. And I look back and I'm like, how do I get unstuck? Stop focusing on being stuck, whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. But I know that I'm going to figure it freaking out and I'm going to keep moving forward, right? And so that's, showing up consistently, continuing to practice. Yeah. So great. I love that you're feeling empowered. Awesome. That's exactly what I wanted to do. And I wanted to give you some things that you're probably already doing, but that you need to hear to be reminded, okay, I need to do this. Okay. I just need to keep going. Okay. It is this. I can do this, right? I didn't take unicorn juice today. That was earlier this morning. So I'm just fired up on like this right now. This is like, so, okay. Anything else? I don't see, did I miss anything? Anything to add? Anybody else? Unmute yourself, go ahead. Okay, picture. If everybody could pop their beautiful faces on. If you're just showing your name right now, I know you're busy. I know you're doing something crazy. Unless you are naked, can you show your face really quick? Even if you are naked, you could just show like the chin up, right? I'll give you like 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. Okay. We have a couple still there. That's good. All right. So go ahead, show your faces, say cheese. You guys are amazing. Love that you were on. I love chatting with you today. I appreciate the fact that you took time out of your day to come hang out with me. It's such a blessing. And I know that that is really important and valuable. So I appreciate you for being here. And I'm grateful to be able to do this with you guys. Anything else you want to say, Christy? All right.
No, I just want to say, when will it be up in the team page for recording?
Today.
Cool. Awesome. I know I want to tag some people and everybody always asks me, when is it going to be up? When is it going to be up?
We'll see how I have an ancient computer right now because my computer, I spilt liquid all over it and fried it. I'm using like this old Dell, so it might take a little while, but I'll have it up today.
Yeah, mine takes a long time. It's cool. Oh, 3 things actually. People probably dropped off by now, but one, if you are a diamond or above, there is a diamond retreat in Arizona in April. You can find details about it in the team page. It's pinned at the top. So that's number 1. Number 2, I mentioned on the Q&A, but I know some of you just joined. Starting on Tuesday this week, which was the 8th. Was that the 8th? Tuesday the 8th, all the way through the 30th, there's a daily challenge. It's a story, a reel, or a post. And you can, if it says do a reel and you want to do a story, do a story. I'm not asking for perfection here. It really is about progress. If I say to talk about your fitness goals and you want to talk about the gut protocol, do it and check in. There's a giveaway. It's a one-on-one certified high performance coaching call with me and a gift card. And if you've missed it and you didn't do Tuesday, Wednesday, you can go back, you can catch up. You could do a post for Thursday or a story on Facebook and then another story on Instagram, like spread it out. Totally cool. Third thing, for those of you in March, so actually every coach that's a Ruby, an Emerald, or a coach who's never, who hasn't advanced to Diamond or above yet, in the month of March, they only need to help 2 people to earn Success Club. When you hit Success Club 4, so all of your new coaches that join you, when they hit Success Club 4, it counts as Success Club this month. So they legit get to Emerald and hit Success Club if they're a brand new coach. And so this is for anyone. It doesn't, if you have been a coach for 5 years and you're a coach, or you've been a coach for 5 years and you're an Emerald, all you need is to help 2 people enroll with the Gut Protocol Challenge Pack. We have a huge launch. People are excited about it. They've never been able to have access to it. Those of you that are Diamond and above, or have reached Diamond before and above, you have to hit Success Club 5. So you don't get that same benefit. But for everybody on the team who hits Success Club in the month of March, you will be invited to a certified high performance coaching, group coaching Zoom with me. And I shared earlier on the team page about this. So there's more details in there. Basically, if I do one-on-one coaching for certified high performance coaching, I charge anywhere from $5,000 to $7,500 for 12 sessions. So you guys will get 1 session of certified high performance coaching for free by earning Success Club. And then going forward in April, when you hit Success Club, it'll be Success Club 5 or more. Then in May, there'll be the 2nd session. So you legit can get all 12 sessions of certified high performance coaching group with our team, very specific to our team, for free by hitting Success Club. So there's more details on the team page for those that don't want to watch this whole video to get to the end, because they probably thought it already cut off by now. There's a video in the team page, so check that out. So lots of exciting things with the launch. Everyone can hit Success Club. There's a Gut Protocol info group. I said earlier, I don't know where, I said this on the video, I think, if it were me and I was a brand new coach, here's what I would do to make sure that I hit Success Club 10 this month. I would go to every single person on my Facebook group. I would go to every single person on my Instagram. I would go to every single family friend that I could think of. And I would say, hey, this new program's coming out. It's about gut issues. I notice I have cravings, I have bloating, I have skin issues, and I'm so excited to do this and get rid of these because my coach, Christy, she got insane results. This is what she did. And you want to join me? I want to do it with people and like have super fun and get great results. You in? I can add you to an info group if you'd like more details. They say yes, add them to the info group, check up on them, follow up with them. My goal would be to talk to enough people that I got 100 people in that info group, because I know if I got 100 people in there, 10 people would say yes. And the other 90 are obviously interested and intrigued enough that they would eventually say yes. That's what I would do. So simple. If it were me, that's what I would do. And that is what I'm doing. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Crystal. This was incredible. I can't wait for the recording to be up because I have some coaches that weren't able to make it. They were at work and I want to be able to tag them. Have a great week. And I'm so pumped for the launch next week.